The road to 100,000 YouTube subscribers can be a long one, so how do creators just like you get there? In this series, you'll hear from YouTubers that have worked hard to build a loyal audience and learn what they did to grow. Meet Asia Coffee. She just crossed the 100,000 subscribers mark.
My channel is all about cake decorating tips, tricks, and tutorials.
We talk about what it's like getting that silver play button.
And did you do anything to celebrate?
I did not.
How much she's really earning,
I would have been lucky to maybe have $50 a month.
as well as how to get started, what equipment to use, and the most important thing Asia did to grow and keep growing.
Every other week, I was going to post a video, no matter what.
So Asia, thank you so much for being with me here and for being willing to share what's going on with you and your channel and your own journey to 100,000.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
So I've got so many questions for you, I think, but maybe we should start with, for those who might not be familiar with your channel, talk to me a little bit about what your channel is, what the name of the channel is, of course, so people can find it, and what you do on the channel.
Sure. So, my name is Asia Coffee, and the name of my channel is Asia Coffee. And my channel is all about cake decorating tips, tricks, and tutorials. So, my channel is set up for anyone who has ever been interested in learning how to decorate a cake, whether they're just wanting to give it a try, if they have a birthday party or some kind of celebration that's coming up really soon, and they don't know how to do anything. My channel is the channel for that person. I also get into some, I would say, more intermediate or advanced type of cake decorating techniques as well, and talking about baking too. So it's kind of a combination of things within that particular niche.
Now, because we're talking about the journey to 100K and how we get to our sort of first 100,000 subscribers, I want to ask how many subscribers you have at the moment we're taping this interview.
Yes. So right now I have 100,612 subscribers right now in this moment.
Congratulations, you just crossed that 100,000 mark yourself. How did it feel for you?
It felt fantastic. It felt momentous. And I think back to when I had first hit 1,000 subscribers. And I want to say that that happened about 2020, hit 1,000 subscribers. Then around the same time, and it was a major thing there. And so to fast forward years later, almost to the day, and hit 100,000 subscribers, that was just absolutely amazing.
And did you do anything to celebrate?
I did not. No, I mean, it was just I will tell you, and I'm sure we'll touch on this a little bit later, getting to that milestone and getting past that milestone, it really has done for me is just motivated me to keep going and to strive toward the next milestone. So instead of taking the time to really stop and celebrate, which, they tell us to stop and look at your accomplishments and take note and take stock of how far you've come, I just, I kind of skipped that part. I should probably go back and do something retroactively, but it was just kind of like, this is great. It was a fantastic moment being able to unbox my silver play button, but didn't like throw a party or anything like that.
That's actually, I've got two questions related to that then.
Yeah.
How does one get the silver play button is question
Yeah.
one.
So, YouTube automatically knows when you've crossed the milestone. I would say from the date that I hit the milestone to the time that I actually received my silver play button was about 2 weeks. About a week after I hit my milestone, I received an email from YouTube saying, "Hey, congratulations, you hit the milestone. Now you need to go in and actually order your silver play button." And you have the option of if you have like a longer channel name, for example, like my channel name is very short. It's just my first name and last name. But if you have a longer channel name, you have the opportunity of shortening it or doing something to where it
Mhm.
gets to the point. So you make sure your channel name is correct on your play button and you receive your complimentary play button. For me, it took about a week after I went in and ordered it. So from hitting that milestone to actually having the play button in hand, it took me about 2 weeks.
Awesome. So exciting. So, and congratulations again. I think we should celebrate it here. Maybe we can do some of those little reactions that set off the fireworks. I turned all those off, so no.
Yeah.
The second question I had related to that is you talked about it was motivation for your next milestone. What's your next milestone that you're aiming for?
That is a fantastic question, and I have been thinking a lot about where do I go from here? Because to get from 100,000 subscribers, which of course everyone knows the silver play button, to get to your next milestone, which is 1 million subscribers, to get the gold play button. Um, there's quite a bit of numbers in between 100,000 and 1,000,000. So, in my mind, I haven't exactly broken it down into digestible milestones, but I think
Mhm.
that is going to be my next step. At this point, I'm maybe about a little bit over a month or so into having my play button, so I'm just strategizing for the future. The one thing that I will say is I really wish YouTube would do some kind of milestone or recognition in
Mhm.
between, like maybe a 500,000 subscriber award, just to help to motivate, keep people going.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I hope they'll hear this and take that to heart because it would be a good idea. How long have you been a YouTuber? How long has it been since you started your channel?
My journey as a YouTuber it was an interesting start. So I posted my first video in 2011. When I uploaded this video, it was just a really neat cake decorating technique that I had recently learned, and I wanted to share it with people. That was my only reason in posting that first video. So I posted that first video. I didn't know anything about analytics. I didn't know anything about YouTube Studio. I'm not sure if YouTube Studio even existed at that point, but I posted the video, put it out there, and I just let it sit. And then over the course of time, I would get email notifications saying, hey, someone left a comment. And then I'd go in and look at that comment. And then I just left. And it probably wasn't until some years later when I posted my second video. And then maybe a year after that, I posted my third video. It was maybe around the beginning of 2019 or the end of 2018 when I realized, hey, I have an audience. It was a very small audience. I think at that point I had maybe less than 500 subscribers. But the thing that really stuck with me at the time was that there were people getting enough value out of the few videos that I posted that they were willing to subscribe. And so that's when the light bulb went off in my head to say, hey, get consistent, keep posting videos. And so at the end of 2019, I made the commitment that no matter what, throughout 2020, every other week, I was going to post a video, no matter what. And here I am now. So that's the way I had gotten started in it. I just really posted a video wanting to share something that I learned.
Mm.
And then from there, it grew into what it is now.
That's amazing. Would you say this is a side hustle for you, or is it your full-time gig?
So right now it is I would almost say that it's in between because I do have a full-time career. I'm actually a commercial interior designer. I work in an architecture and engineering firm in my city. And that's my profession. That's what I've gone to school for. I have my registration, licensure, and all of that great stuff. So that is that's my career. I am also a cake decorating instructor, and I'm also a cake artist. So I have a separate business where I do those kinds of things, and all that I do under YouTube, I would consider that under my separate business. So in a way, it's in between a career and side hustle. YouTube right now for me is something that I definitely do on a part-time basis.
And what would you think about taking it more full-time or about making this into a business in and of itself or potentially even a career? Is that something you're thinking about?
Oh yeah, that's definitely something that I would definitely consider. In terms of saying full-time, I think full-time means something different from one person as opposed to another
Mhm.
person because full-time in my mind, it wouldn't necessarily be the same hours as my career that I work. I go into an office and I'm there and I'm sitting for a designated amount of time. Um, and I could say I could be a full-time YouTuber and balance things as well. So, am I saying I want to completely give up my career? I don't want to do that. I love what I do. The kind of work that I do in my career is very impactful to my community and those around me. So, and then also, I went to school for it. So, it's not something I wanna give up completely, but I do definitely see the potential in, having the resource that I have as YouTube and being able to impact the lives of others and sharing my knowledge on the platform.
So true. What would you say is the hardest thing about building a channel from 0 to 100,000?
I would definitely say that the hardest thing about building a YouTube channel is staying consistent. It is very difficult to buckle down and know when to, or just have a schedule of when to film, when to edit, when to post, and being able and staying motivated to continue to do those things over and over again. Because there's some highs, there's some lows, there's times when I feel especially creative. And then there's some times where it's like, oh, I know I need to edit this video, which I will say editing is probably my least favorite thing to do.
I think
Where
that's
I
common.
Exactly, yes, I hear that a lot, I hear that a lot. Editing's my least favorite thing to do, and so if I know that I have a video to edit and I'm not super psyched about it, I tend to procrastinate, but I've gotten on a schedule, and I'm so happy I did this when I met some other YouTubers, at an event recently. I talked to one of them, and she suggested that I get on a schedule. And the way that she phrased it was, "Hey, you go into your office and you work Monday through Friday, a set hour, you have a set schedule there. Have you thought about doing the same thing for your YouTube channel?" And it was like a light bulb went off, and it never occurred to me to have something, to do something like that. And probably for the last month or so, I've stuck to a schedule, and it's really, really helped with the consistency. But I would definitely say staying consistent as a YouTuber is probably the hardest thing for anybody who's building an audience.
Can you talk briefly about what that set schedule looks like? Because I think it might be helpful for people who are also doing the full-time job side YouTube thing about what exactly that looks like for you.
Yes, so for me, YouTube has always been, an evening after work or a weekend kind of thing that I do. More specifically, my new schedule is that it's right now specifically only on weekends. So I work 4 hours. I do 4 hours of YouTube on Saturday and 2 hours of YouTube on Sunday. And so it's worked out. The funny thing is, I almost feel like I need to add a weekday evening into the mix
Mm.
because I'm constantly thinking, I'm constantly looking at analytics and it's almost like, "Oh, I don't really wanna wait till the weekend to do XYZ. I should stop and maybe see what I can do on a Wednesday evening, just for about an hour, hour and a half tops, or give myself some time in the evening." But right now, dedicated days are Saturday and Sunday.
I think that's really inspiring for people because to hear that you're essentially only putting in about 6 or so hours a week and you've hit the coveted 100,000 subscribers mark, I think is a pretty big accomplishment. What advice would you give people who are maybe thinking about following in similar footsteps?
I would say to anyone who is wanting to build their audience, build their channel up, and they only have a limited amount of time is to really focus on number one, getting started. And number two, as best you can, just stay motivated and stay consistent and know that consistent looks different from person to person. It doesn't have to be every single week or every single day. But if you're able to put out content that your audience is expecting to see on some kind of normal basis to keep them coming back, that's the whole idea. Just think about it how you would watch or try to binge like a series on Netflix or something on Amazon Prime. Just kind of apply some of that logic to what it is that you're doing, and then just try to stay motivated.
For some people, I think it's fame. For others, it's probably money. What motivates you? What is it that keeps you going through all of this?
The thing that's always motivated me, and I always think back to that very first video that I posted, where the goal was just to show other people, teach other people this cool technique that I learned in the hopes that it would help someone out. So for me, being a cake artist and cake decorating instructor, like in real life, like people can sign up to take classes with me in my city. Um, just being able to support people and help them learn something new and grow if they really want to get into cake decorating, that has really motivated me to keep going with my channel.
I did touch on money because money, I think, is probably maybe one of the bigger misconceptions people have about having a YouTube channel. I think they see people like, Mr. Beast or MKBHD or iJustine, whoever it is, and they think,
Yep.
everybody's making $1 million. So would you be willing to share with us, we don't have to speak specifically, but share with us what the day-to-day reality of earning money as a YouTuber is like?
Nobody ever comes out as Mr. Beast. As much
Just
as much
Mr.
as
Beast. He's
yes.
singular.
Exactly. Mr. Beast is Mr. Beast. And I think that once people realize or are realistic with themselves about, hey, it's not gonna be, thousands of dollars out the gate. It's not gonna even be hundreds of dollars out of the gate. Because when I became monetized, it wasn't a lot. I would have been lucky to maybe have $50 a month at first. But over time, it has grown for me. So, the one great thing about YouTube is that the platform in general has made it really easy in the variety of ways that creators can make an income from the platform. So, that's one fantastic thing that I've noticed over the last several years. But the expectation for anyone thinking that they're going to get into YouTube to just make millions and millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, especially right away, it's a huge misconception because that I'm not going to say it never happens, but it's super, super rare to happen like that. You really have to build up your audience and then also think about monetization, um, even in some cases outside of the platform. So
Mhm.
YouTube is making money on YouTube is based on views, and views vary. Your channel may experience some lulls or some highs seasonally. Like for me, I'm in the cake decorating niche, so you could imagine around the holidays, I get lots of views. Around June, when there's graduation and Father's Day happening,
Mm.
I get lots of views. June, May, Mother's Day coming up, I get lots of views. So I would say my niche is very seasonal. So that's something that people need to keep in mind as well.
Were there other ways that you're either earning from YouTube? I'm thinking things like super thanks, is kind of a big one for a lot of creators, or off of the platform. A lot of creators will do things like brand deals. Are you utilizing any of those streams for yourself?
I am. So right now, and I will say, as far as super thanks goes, I've only received just one super thanks ever. So yeah, I think super thanks is more effective for creators who do live streams and
Mm.
are there with their audience in the moment. And because in my niche, people are really coming to my channel to just maybe look something up really quick and then leave. There's not that interaction or engagement. So people may not even know that that feature is even there. So super thanks, not so much. Now, I do have channel memberships, and right now I have one level for my channel members, and I have right now about 5 channel members. And I'm looking to grow that, but again, it's something that I haven't done a great job in letting the audience know that I have. So I'm planning to definitely do more with that feature going forward. As far as off the platform, I do have a blog on my website as well. So I do some affiliate marketing through my blog. And I have also, for a very short period of time, I did have a brand deal with a major cake decorating manufacturer. They're just major worldwide, where they did hire me to come into their studio in the west suburbs of Chicago. And if anyone is into cake decorating, then they know who I'm talking about. So I did some videos in their studio for them, and I've done a couple things here and there, but that's probably the closest to a actual brand deal that I've gotten.
And you mentioned your blog. What's the URL for your blog? We can call that out and get people taking a look at it.
Sure thing. So if you go to my website, it's www.cakes, plural, by coffee, and coffee spelled just like the drink, COFFEE.com. And you'll go to the home page, and there along the top, there's a tab that's called the Sweet Treats blog. So if you click there right from the homepage, you'll be able to see all of my blog posts, the latest blog posts, some really great information there. And I will tell you that having my YouTube channel has made it very, very easy for me to create my blog and also keep content up on my blog as well. And that's something that I really just had gotten into this year and committed to as well, because I realized that having that channel or having my channel was a resource that I could use to take things out and post, break things up and post. So it's been super, super helpful having both.
That actually brings up a really good question about being on multiple platforms. So you've got the YouTube channel, you've got the blog. I'm assuming you're on social media. You can tell me, but how do you find keeping up across multiple platforms and how does that work for you?
Yeah, so of course, I'm on YouTube. I have my blog that's on my website. I'm also active on Instagram. And through Instagram, I am active on Facebook as well. Now, the one platform I don't even have it on my phone is TikTok. And I think maybe the kinds of, viewers or audience that watch TikTok, I'm not sure if they would get value out of the kind of, content that I make, which is really kind of in-depth, showing someone how to do something and not, going through really quickly, racing through something, while talking about a completely different topic. That's not really what I do. But in terms of just kind of juggling multiple platforms, YouTube for me is top. That is my top priority. I would say second would be my blog, third would be Instagram, because Instagram is what I do is very visual. So having Instagram and keeping up on Instagram makes sense. There's videos. I can repurpose YouTube Shorts for Instagram Reels. And with Instagram and Facebook being together right now, posting content on Instagram that automatically goes over to Facebook, it makes things
Mhm.
1,000 times or easier. So, that's kinda how I work it. I balance it, but for me, YouTube is my most important platform.
And I think that's really important for people to understand is that you do have to have those priorities and you have to almost have a hierarchy of which platforms are most important to you because trying to be everywhere on every platform and, make different posts for each one of those can be exhausting. How do you manage a full-time job and all you're doing with YouTube and all of your posts without burning out?
I don't even know. I don't know. No, I think that, it's really important to know for creators to know that as you create, you're creating, and when you create something, you're creating it visually, you're creating audio that can be separated out. That audio can be turned into words, wording, text. So it's a lot of being strategic about repurposing the content that you do have. For example, let's just take an example of a long form video. You can take a long form video and you can break it down into shorts. You can take the shorts and you can take verbal snippets out of those shorts and take the text from that to create just like a motivational post about something that's just text. And you can post that to Instagram and then have it set up to where that Instagram post also gets shown on your Facebook page. And so there's different ways of kind of taking what you have created because you are the creator and repurposing those and just being strategic about okay, if I'm gonna post it here to Instagram, I'm gonna click that little toggle and tell this Instagram post to also go to Facebook. So it's just kind of thinking ahead. And then also the other part of it is that motivation and knowing your energy levels, how you feel when you want to work. So, for example, when I'm working on a Saturday and I have those 4 hours, and for example, this happened just this last weekend, my computer crashed on me in the middle of me editing a video.
Oh no.
So, and I use Final Cut Pro. I know I wasn't gonna lose any kind of content or anything that I had done, or if I did lose something, I wasn't gonna lose a whole lot. But when that happened, I was still motivated to work, but I went ahead and walked away from my computer. I took my laptop upstairs, and that's when I started working on my blog post and
Mm.
just kinda getting things scheduled for that. So, whatever energy that you have, if something happens and you're like, "Oh, man," instead of saying, "Okay, I'm done for the day. I'm just so frustrated." Use that energy or motivation that you have in that moment and repurpose it for something toward your channel or toward, whatever platform that you're doing things for, toward your blog, toward your Facebook, toward your Instagram. So, use that energy that you already have to keep going. Don't let it leave.
That's such good advice and good for people to remember. You talked about that creative repurposing, which I think is huge. And I think it's the kind of thing where people go, "Oh yeah, of course." But until you actually have to execute it and pull it off, you don't really think about it strategically. So how many videos would you be putting out, say in a week? And then how many of those are sort of primary videos versus maybe things that you're cutting out of a longer video?
I typically post, long form videos, and I'm changing the way that I'm doing things right now to where I'm not posting every other week. I am going to try to put some content out, whether it be a post on YouTube, a post on YouTube, or a short on YouTube, or a long form on YouTube, something every week. For me, long forms are super important for the kind of audience that I have who are there to really get the in depth instruction on how to do a certain
Mhm.
cake decorating technique or baking.
And Asia, what is long form for you?
Yeah, so long form is a longer video, and typically my videos are about 4.5 minutes to about 8 minutes long. So I very rarely had anything over 10 minutes. And the way that I think about it, I watch a ton of YouTube videos. And typically I like videos that are under 10 minutes. I go through and I don't watch everything at once. I do really take advantage of the save to watch later feature on
Mm.
YouTube. And, anything that interests me, I save to watch later, and typically those videos are less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
So that would be a long form for me. And right now and previously, I would want to put out 2 long form videos a month. And then those supplemental weeks or the weeks in between, I would want to post a short and, of course, shorts before they made the change anything under 59 seconds, but now they've expanded it to 3 minutes, which in my mind, I'm still trying to balance out whether I want to do a long form horizontal video that's
Right.
3 minutes or if I wanna make it vertical. I almost feel like, again, going back to the audience, the kind of audience that, creators get watching shorts is a different kind of audience. It's very
Mhm.
they're there mainly for, entertainment, I would say. They're not
Mm.
there to learn something that would require a lot of time and patience in showing.
Right.
So the reactions that I get to my short form videos are very different to the reactions and kind of comments that I get for long forms.
Is one of those paying more dividends, I guess I could say now, shorts versus long form? Or
Are you saying
which is doing better for you right now?
yeah, so when you say doing better, are you talking about like monetization wise?
Let's say views, view-wise. 'Cause I
Views.
know we could tell people about how very little money creators actually make from
Oh,
short videos, but
yes. Yes. Shorts are oh, just view wise, which is the frustrating part. I'm gonna be very honest, very frustrating. I would say I get way more views on shorts, and that
Mm.
is because it's short, people are consuming it, and now that YouTube has changed the way they're counting the views for shorts, it's much higher than my long forms. I would say that my long form videos take about 6 months to actually get into the system, work the algorithm, and be presented to other people besides my usual audience. It takes me
Mhm.
about 6 months to a year for some of my videos to really kind of rise to the top because of the niche that I'm in.
I think that's actually another really important point, and that's that it helps, I think, for people to know what kind of creator you are. There's some people that are chasing virality and trying to make these really popular videos that go viral, and are viral for a day or two and then poof, they're gone, versus creators that I think you and I would be, which is more of the educational creator. And those videos do take, and I find that for myself as well, those videos do take weeks and in some cases months to build up to something that other people might find impressive, I guess.
Yes.
So I'm glad you mentioned it because I don't think people realize that. I think people think you put out a YouTube video and, if 100,000 people don't watch it that day, it's a failure. But
Yep.
that's absolutely not the case for me. Is it the case for you?
That is correct. So again, it takes my channel and specific videos, long form videos, at least 6 months. I would say all of them at least about 6 months if they even get off the ground.
Mm.
And as you touched upon, the kind of content that you and I make is considered more so evergreen content
Mm.
to where it's no matter at what point in time, somebody's gonna need to use it. It's not, um, a daily news bit or something that's timely to the moment. It's something that could be used at any point in time. And so, going even deeper into that, a lot of my content is geared more so, to people searching specifically for things. At one point in time, the video that I have on my channel that was super popular, and again, it really kind of ebbs and flows, um, is how to separate an egg. And
Really?
I have an interesting story about this.
Let's
The
hear
first,
it.
the first thing I ever learned to do on YouTube by watching a YouTube video was how to separate an egg. So, and that was years and years ago. It had to be maybe 2009, 2008. I looked it up. I had never really used the platform before, but I was like, "Oh, I'll check out this YouTube thing because I learn by watching videos. I learn by watching, and then I get better by doing." And I just remember one day I had to separate egg whites and I didn't know how to do it. And I went to YouTube and that was the first thing that I ever learned how to do by watching a YouTube video. So for me, I recreated that video on my channel. And it's so interesting because around Thanksgiving in the US, views like spike. They all
Ah.
spike around Thanksgiving when people are baking, cooking things, and then the rest of the year is like nobody's watching this video. So that's always interesting.
Do you know about how many views that video has today?
I would have to look. It has a lot of views.
I got a couple more questions for you. What would you say has changed the most, or what would you say has maybe impacted you the most from the time you started your channel to today?
I would probably say, and other people may say this too. I hear a lot of people saying this, the pandemic
Mm.
and everything being shut down and people just kind of being in their homes and being a bit stir crazy and only having social media and their families and TV, but everything they were at home. So I would say probably the pandemic has impacted my channel the most. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I really kind of buckled down at the end of 2019 to say, "Hey, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep consistent in 2020." And then sure enough, in February, March of 2020, everything just went out the door.
Mhm.
And so during that time, I had more time to create I had more time to stay consistent, and I would say, in 2020 and 2021, my channel skyrocketed. There were days where I was getting hundreds, well, I wouldn't say hundreds, I would say maybe about 100 subscribers, and it ebbs and flows from there, but I would say that definitely the pandemic had a huge impact on my channel and how my channel has grown.
And if you were starting out today, or if you were advising someone starting out today who wanted to be a YouTuber, grow a channel, what advice would you give them?
Best advice I can give you is just to start. It's not going to be your first video is not going to be perfect. Part of being a creator on YouTube is the growth. That's part of the journey. It really is a journey. A lot of the YouTube gurus, in air quotes, will say the YouTube is a marathon and not a race. And so you have to have that mindset of, just get started and you want your next video to maybe be like 1% better, 2% better each time. There's going to be changes in technology. There's going to be changes in equipment. I shoot, and not very many people know, well, some people might know this who watch my channel. I would say 98% of the videos that are on my channel, I shoot with my phone. I don't have like a fancy camera. I think for one video, actually that egg video I told you about, I did use an iPad and my phone to film that video because I wanted to get the multiple angles and wanted to
Multi-camera shoot. Good for
e
you.
exactly. I wanted to try that feature, and what I was using at the time, I believe, was maybe iMovie. So even the software that you use to edit in, I started with iMovie. Again, it's free software. I used it, and then at a certain point, I told myself, "Oh, I want to be able to do more things within the editing software." So that's when I transitioned to Final Cut Pro. So you're always going to want to grow if you're really into it and you're jazzed by what you're doing and creating, you're gonna always want to get better. The most important thing is just to start and be patient.
That is such good advice. And I love the fact that you touched on that it doesn't require special equipment. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money on a big camera. You can start today, and do start today if you're thinking about it, with what you already have in hand. So that is fantastic advice, and I'm glad you called it out.
Sure thing. Yes. Just get started.
Asia, thank you so much for being with me today and for sharing your own journey here on YouTube to 100,000 subscribers. I've learned a lot here, and I think you've shared a lot of really great experience and great advice. So thank you again for being here and for sharing what you know.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. Thank you.